Welcome everyone to another episode of Slasher Scotty. I am your host Scotty McCoy, and I have an alumni from the Child's Play franchise. I have Alex Vincent, and he played Andy Barclay in Child's Play. Hello, Alex. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I feel like you hesitated. You almost called me Andy.
I did. I always do that every time. I don't know why.
It's okay. I'm pretty used to it after 3 decades.
It is true, right? Oh my gosh! I mean, I'm really excited that we can do this interview. Like I've been a fan of yours for the longest time, and I will start off with a quick story before I ask the questions. That I've always been afraid of Chucky, and I call it karma ever since I was younger. Now I'm not as an adult, but when I was younger, I was always afraid of Chucky. Every time going into Spencer's and all that, but oh my gosh. I with my cousin Destiny, when she was younger, she was maybe like 5 or 6, and I always antagonized her. Like, you have to antagonize your little cousins.
Of course.
So I ended up putting her, asked her if she wanted to watch Toy Story with me, and I put in Child's Play, and she got scared
My
from it.
mistake? You mean you meant to put on Toy Story?
No, I
Just
meant
the
to
way
put
it
in
sounds
Child's
there?
Play.
Yeah.
But I
Okay.
told her it was a Toy Story, and she got scared from it. But I got even more petrified, and karma paid me back.
Instant karma's gonna get you.
Exactly. So the first question I do got for you is nothing related to Child's Play, but it's how did you get your start into acting?
Um, I grew up in North Jersey, and I had a friend, family friend, who lived down the street from me, and she did commercials.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was 5, I saw her on TV. So I saw someone that I knew in person on TV, and I was just kind of enamored by that idea.
Nice.
So I was a pretty outgoing kid. I had really good memorization skills. So it was just me actually asking my parents to take me to her agent to try to be on TV and do commercials like that.
That's awesome.
So that's what happened. We got set up with her manager from New York, Suzelle from Suzelle Enterprises. Sue Schachter was her name. And she worked with a lot of children in New York in the 80s. But yeah, so I just started going on auditions, and then that was it.
That's
2 or
awesome.
3 times a week, coming home from school and sitting in the car to drive through New York City traffic to go to auditions.
That is so awesome. So what
Yeah.
did you audition for Child's Play? I'm assuming you did, but what was the audition like?
Yeah. I had a few. I
Awesome.
auditioned a couple times in New York, and then I was flown out to LA to audition against like 2 other kids, kind of with a bunch of the producers and directors. I guess the director, I don't know if Tom was there, but a bunch of producers were there. And so I had an audition kind of head to head against a couple other kids there. And I've told this story quite a bit, but it was a little different. Usually, even at 5, 6 years old, when you had an audition, your parents would wait outside and they send you in.
All right.
But this, they flew us out to LA for a pretty big audition against just a couple kids. And my mother was actually in the audition room with me, which was rare.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted me to do the scene where I said Aunt Maggie is a real bitch and got what she deserved. And when I got up to that line, I froze. And I said, I don't remember the lines. I don't remember. So they're like, okay, well, we'll start over. We started over, and then when I got to it, I froze up again, got up and ran out of the room and locked myself in the bathroom. And it wasn't that I had forgotten the lines at all. I was just uncomfortable saying bitch in front of my mother.
Right.
So she went back and told them, no, he knows all the lines. He just didn't want to say that word in front of me. And I guess they had believed that I really forgot the lines. So they said, well, this kid could act.
Right.
So that helped me get the job.
Nice. And every time like I hear you say that in the movie, like I laugh because it's like you hear this kid talking like this, and it's like really like did they really say that? Which it's funny, but it's realistic because like you're playing it off that Chucky said all this, which is the truth, but who's gonna believe that a doll is speaking like this?
Sure.
So it's true. One question I did want to ask, that I don't have listed actually. So did you have any props from the movie to take home, or like even a Chucky doll or anything?
In the first couple films, I got some of the clothing that I had, and I had like the cereal box that I make breakfast with in the first scene. I had a couple things here and there, but no Chucky dolls. They
Okay.
were, a rare commodity that
Right.
producers would get their hands on before anyone else. And then there's puppeteers, directors, writers.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people higher on that totem pole than me.
Right.
So no, I didn't get a doll for part one or for part two. And then I came back for Curse of Chucky.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get one then. But then when I made Cult of Chucky, I said, all right, this is my fourth film. I'd really love my own Chucky. Yeah.
So was it planned from your return in the Curse of Chucky for you to be a part of the Cult of Chucky?
You'd have to ask Don about
Okay.
that. I mean, it was certainly set up as a possibility. I
Right.
mean, I know that in this business, you really can't get ahead of yourselves at all with
Mm-hmm.
anything. Like, just because we got funding to make a movie today doesn't mean that we'll get funding a couple years from now to make any follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
I think some people maybe just take that part of it for granted. I mean, that's
Yeah.
not, that's way above my pay grade, but I do know that it's always a struggle. It's not like they're always knocking down your door to give you millions of dollars to make a film.
Right.
So I think story-wise, if given the opportunity to continue it, he was excited about the idea of including me further.
Mm-hmm.
And thank God he has faith in me as an actor,
Right.
considering that I haven't done much over the last, 30 years. I haven't been on an audition since 1993,
Wow. Right.
So
So what was the reason for you not to return for Child's Play 3?
I wasn't old enough. They wanted the character to be in military school and have a love interest,
Okay.
and they didn't want to wait another extra 6 years or so to make the film.
Right. That makes sense too. So this one, I don't know if there is works in, and if you're allowed to really talk about it, because I know about all those NDA clauses and everything. But is there any plans of you appearing in the Child's Play TV series or any future Child's Play films?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know yet. I hope so.
Right. And I can.
I don't know and or won't tell you. But and no, the truth is really we're not there yet.
Okay.
COVID obviously set everything back.
Yeah.
I think if that had not happened by now, I would know the answer to that question.
Mm-hmm.
But as I stand here now, I genuinely don't really know.
Okay.
If I'll be involved or to what extent.
Right. Well, if they plan on having you, that will be huge. That'll be amazing. I would love to see you return for the TV series, kind of to explore, more about Andy and where his, mental status is from, the first two movies and the last, the most recent two that he was in. And like, I would kind of like to know, like, will it leave off, where you were in that room was it at the hospital? Are you okay? Like, we know you're okay, but like, what happened with you? And then, like, where do you go from there? I think that'd be good to explore.
Well, let's hope so.
Yes.
I'm with you and hoping.
Yes. So the last question I got for you is, do you have any future projects, websites, or social media sites that you would like to promote to our listeners?
Well, like I said, I don't really do much acting, so I don't have anything like that. But I've been running a recording studio down in Clearwater, Florida for the past 6 years. I call it AV Productions, like my initials, but also audio, video, because we do both.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, we've recorded over 250 artists, all genres, done some sound for film, done some video production work. Yeah, I mean, I try to keep that busy. And most of my time gets devoted to the projects that come into my studio. Okay. And that's avproductionsonline.com.
Okay. Awesome.
And yeah, that's it. I was doing a podcast for a little while myself. I had a bunch of horror guests on. And because of my studio, I also had live music every episode.
Okay.
And I had it all running through my board. I mean, as someone who works on this side of things yourself, I'm sure you could appreciate the fact that I had 32 channels of audio going out stereo into my podcast.
Yeah.
Live.
That's amazing.
Yeah. The only thing I couldn't figure out, and still can't really, is how to stream video with the audio from my board.
Okay.
So I got to figure that out. And maybe if I do, I'll bring it back. But I did 21 episodes of that last year with a bunch of your favorite horror guests were on, and some really great music and good conversation about a myriad of topics.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that's about it for me.
Awesome.
I have alexvincentonline.com. Usually I update where my appearances are on there, but not too many of those this year.
Right.
But you could always find out stuff about that.
Right.
And the podcast is called The Final Note, and that's on YouTube.
Awesome. Sounds great. And I thank you for your time. Before I let you go, I did want to say that my one friend, I have a little indie production company myself, and she's one of our little actresses that is in it. But she was going to meet you at Monster Mania in New Jersey back in March, but it was canceled.
Yeah, that
because
was about the most disappointing convention cancellation of all time.
Yeah.
I had flown up to New Jersey for it just as this pandemic was kind of kicking into gear before the shutdown of everything.
Right.
And that was scheduled like right on that weekend when they shut things down. So I flew up to New Jersey on a Wednesday for the convention on Friday, and they canceled it Wednesday night.
Ooh, yeah.
So yeah, it was a bummer.
Yeah.
It's a great show.
Yeah.
But I'll be back there someday. And,
Awesome.
And that convention will be back someday.
Awesome. Her name is Skylar Turner, and she wanted me to tell you hello.
Tell her I said hello as well.
I definitely will. Well, I thank you for your time, and you have a great rest of your day, and you stay safe.
Thank you, Scotty.
Yep.
You as well.
Thank you
Take
so
care.
much. You too. Bye.